The night hung heavy over the ruins, a thick, suffocating blanket of rain and shadow. Lightning, for a brief, violent second, would illuminate the jagged teeth of the shattered skyline, a city broken and bleeding. And there, standing guard over its remnants atop the fractured spine of a fallen bridge, was Captain America. His uniform was soaked through, plastered to his frame, but his stance was a testament to unyielding resolve. The iconic shield, held firm in his hand, gleamed with every flash of heavenly fire. He was a lone sentinel in a world brought to its knees. From the oppressive darkness below, a figure emerged, coalescing from the shadows like a nightmare made flesh. It was Deathstroke. Half his face was a chilling, impassive mask of orange and black. The other half, exposed to the elements, was a canvas of cold calculation and brutal experience. His one visible eye locked onto the hero above. When he spoke, his voice was the sound of a whetstone on steel, cutting through the downpour with chilling precision. "Still fighting for ideals, Rogers? Look around you. The world doesn't need heroes anymore, it needs survivors." Rainwater streamed down Cap's face, but his gaze never wavered. He tightened his grip on his shield, the leather straps creaking in protest. "And it'll have both," he called back, his voice a bastion of defiance against the storm's roar. "As long as I'm still standing." The challenge was laid. The air crackled, not just with electricity, but with the imminent promise of violence. And then, they clashed. The first strike was a blur of motion, a phantom whisper of displaced air and glistening metal. Deathstroke's blade, a length of deadly, gleaming steel, sliced through the rain with surgical intent. It met the vibranium shield not with a simple block, but with a thunderous, resonating clang that echoed across the desolate city like the toll of a funeral bell. A shower of brilliant orange sparks erupted at the point of impact, momentarily painting the storm in hues of fire. Captain America absorbed the blow, his feet planted like ancient oaks, and immediately countered. He put his entire weight behind a shield bash, a move born of 100 battles, that caught Deathstroke square in the chest. The mercenary was sent tumbling backward, crashing through the crumbling remains of a concrete wall with the force of a wrecking ball. A low, gravelly laugh drifted from the newly made opening in the rubble. Deathstroke rose, brushing dust and debris from his armored suit as if it were a minor inconvenience. He adjusted his mask, the single eye within it glinting with a dangerous amusement. "You fight clean, Cap. Honorable. Predictable," he rasped. "Let's see how you handle dirty." Before the words had even fully left his lips, a series of timed explosions ripped across the length of the bridge. Pillars of fire erupted into the stormy sky, lighting the chaos in a terrifying, flickering orange glow. The very ground beneath Cap's feet buckled and groaned. But this was his element. Chaos was a language he spoke fluently. With reflexes honed to a razor's edge, Captain America leaped through the maelstrom of fire and shrapnel, a blue and red streak against the inferno. In midair, his body twisted, and with a grunt of exertion, he hurled the shield. It wasn't a straight shot. It was a masterclass in physics and combat geometry. The vibranium disc screamed through the air, ricocheting off a concrete pillar, then another, a pinball of patriotic justice. It intercepted Deathstroke's new sword mid-swing, the impact splitting the tempered blade clean in half. The sound of shearing metal was almost lost in the storm's fury, but Deathstroke was no ordinary man. Enhanced reflexes, a mind that operated like a supercomputer, a tactical foresight that bordered on precognition. He had already anticipated this move. He had seen the trajectory, calculated the angles, and planned his counter before the shield even left Cap's hand. As the captain landed, expecting to face a disarmed opponent, Slade Wilson was already moving. He caught the hero mid-air as he descended, his powerful arms wrapping around him like steel bands. With a roar of pure, brutal strength, Deathstroke slammed Captain America into the ground, the impact so powerful it tore up the asphalt, sending jagged chunks of road flying. The world swam for a second. The taste of copper filled Cap's mouth. A trickle of blood ran from the corner of his lip, a stark crimson against the grime on his face. He pushed himself up on one elbow, the rain doing little to wash away the stinging pain. He looked up at the towering figure of Deathstroke, and a fire ignited in his eyes, a burning defiance that refused to be extinguished. "Is that all you've got?" he spat, the words a mix of blood and rain. The taunt worked. It was a calculated risk, designed to draw Slade into a close-quarters brawl where Cap's superior hand-to-hand skill could find an opening. In a flash of movement almost too fast for the eye to follow, Captain America exploded upwards. A precise strike knocked Deathstroke's sidearm from his grasp. A leg sweep sent the mercenary off balance. Before Slade could recover, Cap tackled him, driving him with the force of a locomotive straight through the side of a burning, overturned truck. The fuel tank, already compromised, finally gave way. The resulting explosion was immense, a blossoming fireball that consumed both warriors and threw them in opposite directions like discarded dolls. The shockwave rattled the already unstable bridge. For a long moment, there was nothing but the crackling of flames and the steady drumming of the rain. The smoke, thick and black, billowed into the night sky. Then, a silhouette began to rise. Bruised, battered, his uniform torn and scorched, Captain America got to his feet. He was unbroken. Across the scorched asphalt, Deathstroke stirred. He crawled to his knees, his breath coming in ragged, painful gasps. His iconic mask was cracked, the fracture running right across the blackened half, revealing a sliver of the battle-hardened face beneath. He looked less like a super soldier and more like a man at the end of his rope. Cap retrieved his shield, its surface blackened by the explosion, but its integrity absolute. He walked slowly towards his fallen foe, his footsteps heavy on the debris-strewn ground. "You can't kill an idea, Slade," Cap said, his voice low but carrying the weight of unshakable conviction. He stood over Deathstroke, raising his shield one last time, not for a killing blow, but as a final, definitive statement. Deathstroke looked up, a feral, desperate glint in his eye. "But you can beat the man carrying it," he hissed, and with a final primal roar he lunged forward, a hidden blade flashing in his hand. The final strike echoed through the storm, the distinct clang of the vibranium shield meeting reinforced steel. A brilliant burst of white light, as if the lightning itself had struck the point of impact, and then silence. A profound, ringing silence that seemed to swallow the sounds of the storm and the fire. The rain continued to fall, a curtain washing over the final act. When the smoke and the momentary blindness cleared, only one man was left standing, Captain America. At his feet, Deathstroke lay motionless, his last desperate gamble having failed, defeated but alive. Cap didn't spare him another glance. He turned away from the battlefield, his broad back to his vanquished enemy, and began to walk towards the edge of the city. The rain fell harder now, washing away the blood and the grime of the battle, a baptism for a weary soldier. As the first, faint fingers of dawn began to break over the ruins, painting the sky in shades of gray and hope, a single whisper escaped his lips, carried away on the morning breeze. "Honor always wins."